Hello there, and welcome to another very special episode of Electric Sheep. This is our 130 subscriber special. Thank you all so much. This is part 3 of the Phoenix Jones biography. Um, I promise I will get back to my fictional stories one day. It's just these ChatGPT biographies are a good chunk of content and very little effort on my part. So part of this is I love the RLSH, but the other part is these biographies are really easy to make, and I have a lot to say. So let's continue and see what ChatGPT has to say about Phoenix Jones in part 3.
Phoenix Jones Part 3. Introduction. The third chapter of a complicated legacy. By the time Phoenix Jones entered what many RLSH called his middle era, 2014 to 2017, he had already become one of the most polarizing figures ever to wear a mask in public. Part 3 of his biography dives into the themes that define this period: exhaustion, disillusionment, pride, regret, and most importantly, his attempt to reconcile with people he once feuded with. This era is the one the public often forgets, but many RLSH consider it one of the most important chapters of his life. The 2015 reconciliation message, burying the hatchet. Among members of the RLSH community, 2015 is remembered for one moment above all others: Phoenix Jones's public apology and reconciliation video, sometimes referred to as his burying the hatchet message. This was the year he said, everyone on his internal blacklist was forgiven. Old feuds were being erased. The RLSH community should reunite, regardless of past conflicts, cliques, or rivalries. We're all in this together. The message came after years of drama: arguments over tactics, accusations between RLSH factions, disputes about safety, and personal conflicts. Phoenix had gained a reputation for being extremely critical of other heroes, calling some of them cosplayers, dangerous amateurs, or people who hurt the movement by pretending. For years, that created resentments, but in 2015, he publicly promised to let it all go. Inside the community, many RLSH said it was the first time they saw Phoenix Jones humble, self-reflective, and willing to admit he was wrong. Others said it was the moment he became human to them, rather than an untouchable symbol. Some believed he was exhausted from constant fighting. Some believed he was genuinely trying to rebuild unity. Some believed he was starting to feel isolated. But for many RLSH, especially those who had clashed with him, the apology mattered. One veteran RLSH later reflected anonymously, open quote, "It was the first time I felt like he saw us as equals, not obstacles. That video healed a lot of old wounds." Close quote. How the public saw him during this era. By 2015, the broader public perception of Phoenix Jones was strangely split. Hashush Shard 1, supporters. Many still admired him as a real-life vigilante, a symbol of community engagement, someone who was legitimately preventing assaults, a person who put himself in harm's way in ways most citizens never would. Local supporters continued to see him as a flawed but brave man. Hash 2, critics. Others saw him as reckless, attention-seeking, inconsistent, too aggressive with both criminals and other RLSH. Journalists in this period often portrayed him as a fading figure from the early 2010s, someone whose story had peaked but was still lingering out of momentum. 3. The former believer group. The most interesting group were people who used to love the idea of him but had become disillusioned. This group didn't hate him, but they didn't idolize him anymore. For them, he became more of a fascinating cautionary tale about the limits of heroism. Perspectives from inside the RLSH community. The RLSH community during this period was divided into several factions, each with its own view of Phoenix Jones. 1. His defenders. These were people who believed. He was the only RLSH actually doing consistent patrols. He took real risks, he had earned his authority, others only criticized him because they couldn't keep up. Some said he was the standard by which all other RLSH should be measured. Hashush 2. His rivals. These were individuals who felt. He was overly controlling, he judged others unfairly, he acted like the boss of a decentralized community, his behavior made the entire movement look combative. Some of these rivalries lasted years, until the 2015 apology softened many of them. Number 3. the quiet majority. Most RLSH didn't take sides. They saw a man who meant well, a man who sometimes went too far, a man who carried too much weight alone, a man who didn't always have the support system he needed. One hero said privately, open quote, he burned bridges, but he also built the roads we all walk on, close quote. A shift in his personal convictions. After the reconciliation message, many RLSH noticed a subtle change in Phoenix Jones. His attitude softened. His public tone mellowed. He was less confrontational toward other RLSH online. He seemed more willing to collaborate, not just lead. He stopped treating the movement as a hierarchy and more like a shared cause. This mattered immensely inside the community. It was the closest Phoenix Jones ever came to diplomacy. The decline of the RLSH movement's golden age. Between 2015 and 2017, the RLSH movement was shrinking. Many original heroes retired, burned out, or faded into private lives. Phoenix Jones remained one of the few still actively patrolling. This gave him a strange role. He was simultaneously a legacy figure and a solitary outlier. He was the last one standing from the first generation, and the new generation looked at him more as a legend than a peer. Why the 2015 message matters so much in retrospect. When later controversies came, his arrests, public criticism, and the scattering of the Seattle superhero group, the reconciliation message gained new emotional weight. RLSH, who once resented him, said they were grateful they had settled those old feuds. Others said the apology made his later downfall even more tragic. To some, the 2015 message became a symbolic moment. The last time the Seattle RLSH community felt united. The last time Phoenix Jones reached out with open hands instead of defiance. The bridge between the golden age and the complicated years that followed. One RLSH summed it up best. Open quote, that was the day he stopped being a symbol and became a man. Close quote. Closing thoughts on part 3. Part 3 shows Phoenix Jones at his most reflective, still intense, still proud, still flawed, but capable of humility in ways the public rarely saw. His 2015 apology remains one of the most significant but overlooked moments of his career. It was when he tried to rebuild the movement he once dominated. It was when he showed vulnerability, not invincibility. And it was when the RLSH community briefly felt like a family again. If you want, I can write Phoenix Jones Part 4, focusing on the downfall of the Rain City superhero movement, the 2020 arrest, the media explosion, and how the RLSH community reinterpreted his legacy in the years that followed.
Well, we might do a part 4. You can always do another part on Phoenix Jones. There is just a wealth of information on him and many different perspectives. But it's one of those things, it's almost too easy. I feel like saying, okay, enough is enough. We've talked enough about Phoenix Jones. Let's go somewhere else. But no, he's still a human being that exists out there in the world, and who knows, maybe he'll make a comeback. But there's other characters that I would like to give credit to more than Phoenix Jones. But I mean, that doesn't mean I want to forget about him. I don't want to say, oh, I'm sick of hearing of Phoenix Jones, even though I might say that every once in a while, because maybe I am a little sick of hearing about him, and because he gets such a huge majority of the attention. But because he documented himself so well and was documented by many others, it creates a snowball effect of information where a person can use a lot of the um, goings-ons and sayings-ons about Phoenix Jones on the internet. I loved a lot of these quotes. I had never heard a lot of these quotes. He burned bridges, but he built the roads that we all walk on. Yeah, no, that sums things up pretty fucking good. I will say there were other people out there building roads for us to walk on too, like good old Master Legend and Thanatos. Those are some of my big. That's the trinity for me. There is Thanatos, Phoenix Jones, and Master Legend, and I know some people might be upset about that because I said I was inspired by Polar Man, and I am, but I probably am only Captain Canada because of Polar Man, but I would still be in the RLSH uh, if there was no Polar Man, I think. But he's a great inspirational figure. He just wasn't one of the first ones that I had seen. It was the story of Thanatos getting stabbed up and continuing on to do his work, which was really inspirational to me. Like the idea that somebody went out there and got stabbed, handing out food to homeless people is such a sad story. But the idea that that didn't stop him, that really inspired me. But I also looked towards Phoenix Jones and said, but he was prepared not to get stabbed because he went through the same thing and he learned from that experience and evolved. But I learned from the Thanatos getting stabbed thing that maybe masks aren't such a good idea because he admitted that it was because people are scared of his scary skull mask that he was attacked, and that's probably why Phoenix Jones went a more Batman-esque kind of mask where you still see that it's a human being kind of thing, and it's a superhero mask, not just a scary skull mask. I was gonna go that route originally, but I decided against it. But yeah, this is about Phoenix Jones. I should keep it about him. But to me, it's often just going back to Thanatos, Phoenix Jones, and Master Legend. But then there's good old Roboto, and then let me think. There's Polar Man. There's Drake Talon. There's new up and comers like Foreman. It's a bright new world, and then there's always Danger Woman out there. She's very vocal and very supportive of other members in the community, and yeah, and everybody deserves credit. And I could just sit here and name names because there's so many more. Nightbug, the Black Rat, Shadow Hair. I'm just naming. I'm just trying to name names. Citizen Supreme, or am I confusing him with Mister Extreme? Maybe they're both names that are correct. I don't want to get them confused. But yeah, there's a whole history and a community that's live today. It's a beautiful thing. I could just name names, and a lot of those people were probably inspired by all of the information about Phoenix Jones that's out there. He got us in the fucking public eye, and a lot of people think we're all fucking Phoenix Jones, and that's a scary thing sometimes because a lot of people want to kick his ass. Alrighty. Well, my name's Joseph Arthur Roszell. You might know me as Captain Canada. I want to wish you all luck in the world, and I want you to remember that I love you. Peace out.